What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It's Tuesday, January 9th already, believe it or not. We are well beyond Happy New Year season. Let's get right into it. We had an explosive Monday Night Raw last night. I'm excited to talk about it. I've got an awesome Tuesday cast, but it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. We've got the Tuesday Night Delight doing 2 times today. I'm stoked. Round one. Shad, how are you out in the DMV, my friend?
Throw them twos up, man. It's the Tuesday crew. I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to talk about Monday Night Raw. It was definitely a fun, eventful show. And I'm excited for the night, man. If y'all don't know, an early reminder, NXT off the air. We got a special episode. We are going to be interviewing and reviewing with the independent wrestler, Mr. Amazing from the DMV area. Got my DC Wizards hat on. So it's gonna
Yep.
be a show, man. So tune in right now and tune in tonight, man. But other than that, I'm lit. I'm excited to talk with you, my man, who you were about to introduce now. He said I've been ducking him. I'm here with all the smoke, baby.
Finally, he's ready. It's finally the first show together. We've got our head of reviewing up all the way north, just south of the North Pole in Regina, Canada. My good friend Coby Galenzoski. We finally have you and the Tuesday Night Delight on the same show.
For the first time ever in 2024, I'm on the same show as Shad. I said he's been ducking me as a joke, of course. But I hope you guys aren't blaming me, since I am much north, for the polar ice that's happening. That's from all the wind that's coming from the North Pole. I don't want to be put at blame for that. But anyway, last night was a solid Monday Night Raw. We had some great stuff to talk about. There is a loaded list of things. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm like I always am. Of course, I'm always. It's always a pleasure to talk with Clark and Shad. Let's get things
Absolutely.
started.
Let's get into it. Let's talk some Monday Night Raw. Let's first start with some comments here. We got one from Numero One Superfly. Hello, what's going on, Numero One? Good to have you as always. And Bobby Batito with the shout out. Shout out you, Bobby Batito. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again tonight too, right? For immediately following NXT for Off the Air. It's gonna be awesome. We've also got another one over here on Instagram from Malik saying, "What's up, guys? What's up, Malik? Thank you for tuning in. Absolutely." There's a few more over on Instagram tuning in. DJ Denman said, "Let's chat about Jinder. Trust me, we
that's
will
my
get
that's
in
that's my boy
to
DJ. Salute
Jinder
to him,
Mahal."
man.
Absolutely. Shout out DJ. What's going on? Let's talk though about the Punk and McIntyre stuff out of the gates. This one is fascinating. I mean, it's CM Punk on a microphone. Always interesting. Drew McIntyre, I'm starting to really be able to get behind this new little edge. And I don't want to say little and like minimize it in any way, but I'm starting to get behind the edge that he's kind of added to the character.
On this
I don't
day,
mind it in the least. It's fun. On this day, I see clearly, you know. Shout out Metalingus, right? Is that the name of the song? I think Alter
Everything
Bridge.
has finally come to light.
Everything's come to light. But yeah, I'm starting to see the light with Drew too. I really like it. I'm excited. This is a fun little tease. I think both of them in the Rumble is the play here, not a match. That's kind of what we saw last night as far as the future. But I wouldn't mind this being a pay-per-view headliner down the road in the fall, based on their lone interaction there. Depending on what happens between now and then. Shad, I want to get your thoughts on the promo segment last night and where both Punk and McIntyre go from here.
man, I absolutely love this opening segment. They set the tone for the entire episode. This is a Drew McIntyre that I can definitely support as well. I think heel Drew McIntyre, him preaching the truth of what he feels, what he views on his mind. A little bit of tease. I know there's rumors that he is a free agent at some point, but saying maybe I should leave the WWE and eventually alluding it towards one Mr. Phil Brooks, CM Punk taking a lot of personal jabs, man. He had the gloves off for it. And we had CM Punk return as well. CM Punk, he's in a very interesting space right now because we obviously are getting this rendition of a babyface Punk. Everyone adores him. We're excited to see him back on WWE television. But let's not forget, he ain't afraid to make it sting when he gets back to his responses. So I thought they had a great exchange. I love them, putting their legs up on the on top of the ropes and
Yeah.
whatnot, and just like it was funny, man. And Drew McIntyre to me came off more impressing. Not saying he outshined Punk within the promo exchange, but it's just the fact that he was able to really dish it out and sound strong versus CM Punk. I think this is a good initial start to it, whether we are going into the Royal Rumble season. They both made it pretty evident that they have aspirations of winning that Royal Rumble match, getting that opportunity for that title that Mr. Seth freaking Rollins is holding, and more importantly, being in that prominent main event slot at WrestleMania. I think just hearing each other's stories out and kind of seeing who's got more of the hunger to it was very, very interesting within it. And I mean, I'm curious to see how it goes, because whether one of the man wins or the other man wins, I think we're gonna see a very, very telling scene between these two at the Rumble. And I think this might be a match that we have in Australia. I think this is a pay-per-view quality match. This is a pay-per-view quality feud, man. So I'm here for it, man. I'm excited, and I loved all of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Me as well. I'm excited about it. It's funny. Mania season always seems to do this, where you go, "Oh, they only have a few months. Like it's already January. The Rumble's right here," and then it's like everything gets cranked up just a notch, and we're back where we need to be as far as, ooh, who could it be? What could happen here? Right? There's new options that just suddenly sort of rise to the surface, for lack of a better way to put it. Right? You're like, oh man, I didn't think of that 3 months ago, but now it makes sense. Coby, I want to get your thoughts. Did you review Raw last night or was it someone else? But either way, I
Yeah.
do want to get your thoughts
No,
on the promo segment. And what was your rating?
So, well, this match did get the segment did get the highest rating among the review itself. It got a 4.5, a must-watch promo. It is exactly that. I am inclined to agree with Shad. If the move is Punk versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, I feel that is a perfect, not a mini feud, not a big feud, but it helps give Punk a win on the road to WrestleMania if he doesn't win the Royal Rumble. I think that's not a telling spot, but I think that's where they could really use this. I from the promo itself, I thought very highly of what they did. We have Drew McIntyre, who for the last month has been taking numerous of shots. He's taken so many shots saying, "Oh, maybe, I take 9 months off or 9 years off and I was forgiven." Or he likes doing all those lines of CM Punk is back and now everyone feels all hunky dory with surrounding CM Punk. And that's what Drew McIntyre's calling out this time. And it's about time that CM Punk didn't let Drew McIntyre take the only shot. CM Punk showed up. I was like, oh, I really liked the promo before, and as soon as Punk showed up, okay, this is gonna get much better. This is gonna be more interesting, more intriguing, and there was a lot of nuggets that was given in this promo. I can't do it justice. You do have to watch this promo to know how good these two men were in this role. Both men feel like very credible threats on the road to WrestleMania for the Royal Rumble match for Seth Rollins. I was kind of not hoping, but I was originally saying maybe we should get some form of four-way on this side of Raw would have been Drew, Sammy, Jay, and Seth, because they were all kind of in that title picture, but they've definitely fizzled out, and I'm fine with that. We have the four-way on the other brand. That's fine as well, of course. But this promo from start to finish was really good, really entertaining. Another thing that Shad said that I fully agree with is it set the tone for what Raw was going to do. It kicked it off on a high note, and that's what promos need to do when you're kicking it off,
I
kicking
agree.
the show off with them.
It's funny too, by the way, now that you mentioned that, like for months we were praising the heavyweight title picture over on AEW with MJF and him having a bunch of different people gunning at him. Well, now all of a sudden at World's End, Samoa Joe wins the belt. And it's not that's not exactly the same, right? You look at SmackDown, everybody's gunning for that title. And now you look at Raw, and we're going to talk about Jinder Mahal later, but I mean, you have CM Punk, you have Drew McIntyre. Let's get into a bunch of comments we have here. We have a bunch of good ones. We've got DJ Denman. Once again, shout out DJ with Punk is hard to box with, but McIntyre did very well. I think we all agree with that 100%. And then Hack Jansen had a couple funny comments here too. He added, Indus Sher has a better chance of winning the tag titles than Jinder does at a main event title. While I agree with that, we're definitely going to get into that topic here in a little bit. But he also added that Drew and Punk's promo was great, and I agree with that one too. We've got a few other comments over on the YouTube comments, which Bobby Petito agreed with the McIntyre and Punk segment being great. So Anthony Manzano, I can't share that comment only because we do not address dirt sheets. I hear where you are coming from. We are aware of Drew's contract situation, but to recklessly over speculate about that does seem unfair. But it would be a factor in this question, which is Bobby Petito asked, would you guys like to see CM Punk be number 1 and Drew McIntyre be number 2 in the men's Royal Rumble match? Now I'll answer that one really quickly and then let you and Shad and Coby give you guys his thoughts real quick. But I personally would say no, because I cannot see CM Punk making it 60 minutes or long enough without getting injured, unfortunately, at this stage of his career. And I'm a huge Punk fan, but I just don't think the work rate is high enough currently with what he's been doing for him to sustain 60 minutes inside of the Royal Rumble wait till Gunther comes in, right? It's just like and not that Gunther's dangerous in the ring or anything like that. Just the level of physicality to go 60 minutes bell to bell, I think is too big of an ask this early for CM Punk personally. But what do you guys think about that, Shad? What do you think?
I want Drew at 1 and Punk at 30.
Ooh, I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
I think for your exact, I literally think the same exact thing. I don't know if Punk's body is durable to sustain that long of a match. You know, there's ways to kind of circle around it, but I feel like it would kind of a lot of, you know, a lot of negatives in his style of wrestling and in-ring work coming back in the WWE long as he would kind of flash if you let him play in the Rumble for that long. I think that the moment and the pop, him at 30, the crowd will erupt, will always be like that. And I think that'd be better. And I mean, Drew is a workhorse. And if Drew does lose to Punk, I feel like that could even be more of a situation that's going to drive Drew to that psychopath that he is leaning back into.
I don't mind it in the least. We've got another comment here too that is interesting based on that from number 1 Superfly, which is, would Drew be considered an anti-hero? He gets cheered by fans with justifiable reasons, but when facing other top faces such as CM Punk, he gets booed, even though his reasons are justified. That is a great question, and I think it also factors into this discussion. So, Coby, I want to toss that to you. What are your thoughts on Drew's status right now? Shaw just addressed maybe moving back to the Scottish psychopath character. He's not quite there yet, though, right?
So see, that's the thing. No, he's not, because we're looking at a character that, like numero 1 Superfly just said, a lot of not a lot of the pathways he's going down to are very much justified, and his character is enrooted in being not a justified heel, but he has justification, and that's what I don't want to say people see that, but people do believe it from Drew McIntyre, that there's a reason he feels the way he feels. It's more genuine than he's just going back to the psychopath. I feel like this is the Drew that 6 months ago, I would say this is the move to go. He is firing on all cylinders at this point. I feel like you could consider him an anti-hero because he's still in that tweener position because he's getting booed against top faces like a Seth Rollins, like a CM Punk.
Yeah.
But like he said in the original promo, Damian Priest was the reason he lost. He
Right.
theoretically could be doing a Damian Priest match within the next few weeks, and it's justified. A lot of this is justified. And just to quickly talk about that question about the number 1 and 2, I want to give Shad and Clark credit. I never thought about the in-ring condition. I instantly thought of the storyline aspect. I'm like, yeah, it can make sense if that's the story you're trying to tell.
I love
But
that.
it's just like, oh yeah, that instantly clicked. You got to give credit where credit's due to the
As
That's awesome.
an old man whose
Yeah, man.
bones and
Get
back be
crickety.
hurting when his reign
It's-
is happening. Nah.
You should see me roll out of bed, and I'm only 32. I'm kidding. But we got one more comment I want to show here from our good buddy Anthony Manzano. It's with Punk and Drew. Can we do a storyline? Can't remember what year it was when there was a draw in the Rumble. There were two superstars' feet that hit at the same time. So it happened twice. Once, I believe, was actually planned, and that was Luger and Bret Hart way back in the day, early 90s Rumble. And then the other one is, of course, the famous, not only did both feet hit twice, but both quads tore at once on Vince McMahon storming down to the ring to figure it out when Batista and John Cena dumped and all 4 feet hit at the same time. That was a wild scene, to say the least, with Vince sitting on his butt, leaned up against the bottom rope with 2 torn quadricep muscles.
McMahon's in their quads, bro.
That is a classic throwback, by the way. The comment tickled me when I saw it. I was like, I can't wait to talk about that one. I remember it vividly. But let's move on to our next topic of the night, which is we had Ludwig Kaiser and Kofi Kingston, 2 halves of 2 great tag teams. I'd love to see a long-term rivalry between Imperium and the New Day. No problem with that. I had no problem with this match. Coby, what were your thoughts on it? You reviewed the show last night. How do you feel about it? And do you think this does actually end up being a tag rivalry down the road, or is this just kind of a random booking? Shout out Ben.
So I want to give props where props is due in this match. Obviously we can sit here and say we didn't want it to happen. Vinci is probably essentially knocked out last week in their tag match. You could tell it went wrong because it did. It ended the match. This week, it was a brand new Ludwig Kaiser. This is Ludwig with an edge. Ludwig had purpose. He was there to make a statement. And I ate it all up in this sense. Ludwig Kaiser delivered everything you needed. Him and Kofi's always going to be over. I love that about him. We all love Kofi Kingston. We all respect Kofi Kingston. This elevated Ludwig as not necessarily as a joke, because he's taking a lot of losses under Gunther as Gunther's henchman or Gunther's wingman, or however you view it. This was, Ludwig's something. They have something with Ludwig. Like I said, he came in with a purpose. He came with an edge. The crowd was there. The crowd was firmly behind it. They wanted them to fight. It was a no count. It was a count out result, which, okay, that's interesting. But the brawl was fantastic. We have them brawling in the ringside area. You have Ludwig tossing one of the office chairs at Kofi Kingston. That looked brutal. Then you have Ludwig being pulled off. He grabs Kofi and puts him on the steps. That drop kick, that to the steps to Kofi, the camera angle, it obviously smoke and mirrors, but it looked brutal. And this makes me more excited about Gunther's return next week, because now Gunther can be proud of Ludwig Kaiser. And I'm interested to see how they play with that next week. Obviously, it sucks Vinci got hurt, but I feel very highly with what they did in this match. I don't know if Kofi got written off for a few weeks and maybe he returns. I hope it's not Kofi gets written off. He returns, he beats Ludwig, and he gets a match with Gunther. Like, I I feel very highly, and this raised Ludwig's stock very highly in this sense.
I think Ludwig has stood out since they've been on the main roster in a way that I don't think any of us anticipated. I thought Imperium was outstanding on NXT, but Ludwig Kaiser didn't stand out the way he does since they've been called up. I mean, the intro is spot on. The promos are amazing. The body language is hysterical. The way he walks to the ring.
Bro, he's got like a sense of like confidence and aura, how he walks in and how he talks and all of that. Like the dude definitely has like superstar written all over him,
Yes,
man.
the
It's
facial
definitely
expressions.
it's something you can't really like teach. Like it's something that you just as a performer, like he's embodied the entire character, man. So yeah, I agree with Kobe on that. Like he last night we definitely saw a different we saw that dog in him, bro.
Breakout for
That
sure.
chair shot was crazy,
It
dog.
was vicious. Absolutely vicious. Okay. Let's move on to our next subject, which is, of course, the Judgment Day. I've made a lot of fun of the Judgment Day since their inception on this show, on this daily broadcast. I've done it. And I'll admit, I'd like to apologize in the words of Connor McNugget for absolutely nothing, because now R-Truth does it every week on TV, and I love it. It tickles me. R-Truth is on my side. I'm on R-Truth's side, and I dig it. If R-Truth's in the Judgment Day, so am I. I love that guy. I am a huge R-Truth fan. Anytime you can get him on our TV, I'm fired up about it. Shad, did you giggle and were you tickled as I was about last night's segment with R-Truth in the Judgment Day?
Man, last night's segment with his vignette may have been one of the most entertaining things that we have gotten in the early year of 2024, man. It was shot so well. Him talking to his doctor the moment he was born to talk about his career aspirations, all the memes planted within it. It was splendid, man. I am so happy that our truth has returned and our truth has been like pivoted in a very key storyline, a key group, but keeping his comedic timing and having the entire storyline like progress through it all. Because what the beauty of what's happening in the totality of the Judgment Day is that we're covering ground for each wrestler on the group and they're having their own individual feuds. Rhea's feuding with eventually Nia Jax, and obviously with the Royal Rumble coming up, you know, the tag team champions are feuding with series of tag team competitors. They're gonna have a match with DIY. They got a feud with that. But our truth kind of geared within this whole uh circle with JD and Dom. I think it works so good, and I think it adds so much entertainment value to it, man. I think the Judgment Day is doing great work, um, and people can have their uh, critiques about them. I know you're very open with it, but we can't deny the fact that as much time they put on to the Monday Night Raw show, it's working, and it's not like one common like storyline to it. I think what I like it being different storylines sprinkled throughout the whole show makes it flow very well together. And it's gonna be great, man. I love that we got the awesome truth back tied to it, man. Like our truth is the early MVP for WWE right now in 2024. With 9 days in it, like he's doing like amazing work. And we know we talked about it, the return, man. We talked about the return CM Punk that day, Randy Orton that day. Truth also returned, and I think Triple H made it very evident that Truth was gone. He's back. We're gonna use him, and man, salute to that brother. He's what 50 years old, late 40s, like looking like he's 25.
He can't be that old. Remember, Cena was his childhood hero.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Cena old too, bro. Hey, that's true. Truth still got his hair. Cena, I mean, you gotta shave it off, buddy.
That's
That bald spot shining on the back of your head, man.
uh, honest to goodness. Truth deserves just a monster shout out for his comedic ability. Like I love comedy personally, but he's as talented as any comedian on any show. I mean,
Yeah, bro.
even going all the way back to the Cena thing, he's 8 years older than Cena. We all know that. He's my childhood hero and wearing the
Hero,
jorts.
man.
So
That guy,
funny.
bro, like I don't. The thing is this too, man. I want like younger fans to realize it because like I
He could
remember
go.
I remember K Quick back in WWE. I remember Ron Killings on TNA Impact, man. Like that guy is so good
He held
at
the 10 pounds of
wrestling.
gold
Yeah, like
and like
he
deserved
won a
it.
tag team title with Adam Pac-Man Jones, bro.
Yes, he did. That is
Like
unbelievable. I forgot about
like this
that.
this this man is really like a special talent, and like there's a reason why like WWE covers him so much because when you're able to just be that much of a factor on the aspect of entertainment, but also be as good as you are as an in-ring wrestler, like he still can go to this day. He's
No
athletic
doubt.
for do his age. Like he's a national treasure, man. And
I couldn't agree
we
more.
Hall of Famer, man. I can't wait till he gets to the Hall of Fame. That's gonna be the funniest. He got to
And
induct him. Cena got to induct him for
on top of
foremost.
he has to, his
But
childhood
yeah,
hero. I mean, he has to. But on top of that too, the coolest part is if you know his backstory, it's incredible. He's an incredible success story, right?
hmm
He grew up really, really difficult and made something of himself and evolved and adapted. His brilliance is underappreciated, I think, without question. We got a funny comment here, though, from Anthony Manzano, our good buddy. Truth's 51, Cena is 45. I was guessing when I said 8 years, full disclosure there, Manzano, but it was kind of a good guess. Eight's close to
51,
6.
bro. 51. That's incredible.
Uh,
I hope I can look as young at 51 as he is, man. Like that
uh,
dude got the fountain
same,
of youth.
same, no question. We got another comment here from Pierce Kieran. How we doing, Clark? I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for tuning in as always. And then we have another one here about R-Truth from number one Superfly. R-Truth's promo package was hilarious. Him just randomly showing the Judgment Day's babies was
We
so
we we,
random. If we can
we
get
got a
R-Truth sneaking behind the group during the entrance, would be hilarious.
we got an analytics stat from Kobe. The viewers jump as soon as we talked about our truth. So
There you
uh
go.
our truth
Truth,
draws,
truth
man.
equals views.
Yeah.
Truth equals views. I gotta say though, the baby's part of this was and him saying
So
someday I'm gonna be a part of the Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Oh,
That
I've
is so funny,
I
man.
mean, it just was so
I watched it back a few times on Twitter this morning, bro. It's so funny.
oh, that's hilarious. Oh man, that's good stuff. Okay, let's move on to Manzana. Where did the steroids thing come from? I'm not going to show that one, but where did that comment come from? Of course, we've all seen the dark side of the ring, but let's go. Let's go to our next subject, which is Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley. I mean, Rhea Ripley's finally in a feud and defending her title, I guess. But you know, I'm not going to take the time and defend Nia Jax or trash the Judgment Day on this show. I'm just not going to do that today. There's no reason. I'm having too much fun on Tuesday. Coby, I'm going to let you break the whole match down. Tell us about it. What'd you think and what was the rating? Give us the star rating.
Okay, well, so this wasn't a match, this was a promo.
No, I know it was a promo because I missed the segment.
So Rhea Ripley and this is the one thing that I continue to notice, and we all can see that's the fact. When Rhea Ripley is by herself, or when Rhea Ripley is just there, even in the Judgment Day, she is the most over person in the Judgment Day, and she's getting face reactions as probably the bigger heel champion than Io Sky, but she's not even heel right now because she's in. Well, they teased the feud with Nia Jax. I feel like it's smart to build like, oh, Nia Jax just got this big victory against Becky Lynch. Nia Jax is probably the bigger threat to Rhea Ripley now coming into WrestleMania. Can Nia Jax win the Rumble, or is this a future? I like that. They've done tremendously well with booking Nia Jax since she returned. I don't want to say it's puzzling to say. I don't want to say it's a mystery or anything, but it's a cold hard fact that they've done well. They've made her look like a threat. She's getting reactions. She has heat. She's improving. She looks in better shape than she did. We can say so many good things about Nia Jax at this point right now. And that's just a testament to the work she's been putting in this sense. Is this something I want to see? No. This is the thing. This is another defense for Rhea Ripley. Nia Jax isn't going to dethrone Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's on a monster title reign, which her first real threat is going to be Becky Lynch, which we assume that's WrestleMania. Who knows? But I thought this was fine. It kind of connected dots. It built Nia Jax as a threat for the Rumble, which you do want to build people as threats to win the Rumble. So that's fine. That's enjoyable. But nothing tremendously special about this. Fine segment overall.
I agree. It's time though for Rhea Ripley to be a fighting champion. Please. That's just all I ask, right?
She is though now.
Ish.
She fought Ivy last week, and now she's going against Nia.
Yes. Okay.
The one thing I can say is there is a lack of credible challengers. Nobody on the Raw roster other than Becky Lynch can theoretically beat Rhea Ripley right now. So I don't know if that's we're gonna not limit, but we're not gonna do big storylines because there's not big storylines to do.
We do have a comment from I am Jay Skeet over on Instagram. Imagine if Jade Cargill won the Rumble. I think that's a legit challenger to Ripley.
I think whether Rhea, I think it's Rhea and Becky at Mania. That would be my assumption. Whether she wins or not, I don't know. That's one I honestly don't know who would win that. But I think Jade is definitely in the, come up for it whenever she debuts and when she gets built up to it. I don't think she gets it off the bat, and I don't think she wins the Rumble personally, but we'll see.
Absolutely. All right, guys, let's get into our title topic here, though. And I'm finally ready to complain. I'm sorry, Ben. I know Ben is a big fan of Jinder Mahal. So am I. I think Jinder Mahal is a very talented wrestler. I think he's good. Him and Seth Rollins this week does not make any sense to me. So last week, we do this big announcement. We've got a former WWE champion showing up and send him out to pasture, to absolutely be booed out of the building as the weakest surprise ever, just to go, oh no, it was actually a head fake and it's really The Rock. And everybody pops. So we just embarrassed the guy. Now you show a replay of it and bring him back and let Rollins dress him down? What in the world is the point? I don't get it. Coby, I'm going to ask you first. Explain it to me.
This is the thing. I wish I had the answers. I'm sitting here seeing a promo that I don't fully care about. I think there's a missed opportunity to have Seth Rollins and Jinder reminisce and remember the fact that they were the inaugural NXT finals to crown the first ever NXT champion in 2012. I think that was a missed opportunity to mention that and say for Seth to go, yeah, that was the last time anyone took you seriously. And it's interesting. I don't get it. It's another opponent for Seth Rollins to beat, but I'm glad it's not a title feud for a pay-per-view or a premium live event. I'm glad it's not in that spot. I agree that Jinder's a worker and underrated in the sense that he does his job and he works hard. But other than that, I have no interest in this. Yes, it's a little mini feud because the title match is next week. But other than that, I have no reason to care. I agree with everything you said, Clark.
Yeah.
Why are we embarrassing this
man? I disagree with both of y'all.
It's like what are we doing here thing, though, to me, Shad, because don't you feel like it would be more impactful if we're going to reintroduce Jinder? And I understand the way that the Rock swap sort of thing happened last week. That was fun for the moment for what it was, right? But
I mean,
if we're
you're riding the moment of what it is. Like we
but if
saw
we're
him last week, and the crowd is he got massive heat last week from being in that situation with The Rock. You
yeah,
got to ride the wave for what it is. You got to utilize people, whether it be a short program or not. I think Jinder Mahal has done phenomenal work these last 2 weeks. I don't think he has done bad in the promo exchange with The Rock or Seth Rollins. Even though he's got schooled by it, that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to make your coveted baby faces look immaculate and strong, but it's not like he folded or made the segment or opportunity much worse or whatnot. Like I think it's one of those cases where I'm fine with it, and we like it on all promotions when we have short little feuds within
yeah,
title stuff. Like I don't have no problem with it when we have a short segment that goes into a match on AEW or NXT. Like we see it happen a lot. It being on the main roster, it being a top title, yeah. But I feel a lot of it is vindictive towards how people feel about Jinder Mahal. I feel a lot of people feel still sour tasted about his title reign and whatnot. And that's kind of where, and I'm not saying you guys are saying, I'm just
right.
saying a lot of the people online, uh, how it's been receptive. I feel like that's not fair. I feel like this guy
Mhm.
does his role very well. He's a company man. He plays his role to a T. And I mean, I'm cool with seeing him on TV. I'm cool seeing different matches happen. I mean, that's one thing we would complain about. It's not
Right,
like
right. No, it's a great point, Shad. Like it's he is a former WWE champion, right? And to be in that spot, he deserves to be there. I guess what I would suggest though is, and this is where I had an issue. I didn't mind actually the promo after the Rock thing, and you had that moment. How about that's what sets him off, and then he attacks Seth Rollins and does the remember how dominant I am, how talented I am, how scary I can be when I'm firing on all cylinders. Now you bugged me. This is ridiculous.
but it's
And
not. That's not too much different of what you said. Is not that much different of what happened last night, though.
it's
Like
kind of what he
he's
said though. I wanted to run him down. A little more viciousness, I think. He still was the butt of the joke for too long in the promo, and that's actually what bothered me. Because to your point, I think there is that weird bad taste from his initial run, and that's unfair. Because he is immensely talented and he's huge and can work and he's physically intimidating. He's well spoken on the microphone.
I mean, I'm I'm gonna give it a chance to see what happens next week.
Yeah.
I feel that it's a new year. We're starting to see different people, different type of feuds happen, different people mixing it up that I wouldn't expect it. I saw Bronson Reed and Jay Uso talk yesterday, something I never thought about, but something that's different and got
Yes.
my intrigue. So I mean, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't feel insulted by the segment per se though. I was excited for it, man. Look, I'm
Yeah.
Bengali. He's Indian. We're both Desi. Maybe I'm being biased off of that, but
No.
I think my man Jinder Mahal has been doing some work these last 2 weeks. He deserves his praise on that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I want to be clear too. Like, I'm a big fan of Jinder Mahal and his work. I actually felt like he was put in an unfair position because of the Rock part of it to have to follow it up this week once again, and he still is kind of playing second fiddle to Rollins in this scenario, and I'd rather him be brought back stronger in a way. There's a lot of comments about Indus here. We can talk about those if we get a chance really, really, really quick. Um, Anthony Manzano added that Jinder is at best as a top level mid card guy, low level main eventer, and I don't think Triple H is ever going to give him a shot to win the WWE or heavyweight championship after his last run. See, I don't know, because things do change on a dime. There's a few
Never
comments
know.
over here too from White Catastros. Thanks you for tuning in again. Jinder's back to set up a 3MB reunion. That one cracked me up. I hope not, or so. I don't know. That's
Oh
kind of funny.
my.
And then he also added, though, I just hate the whole stale hating on America gimmick. I don't think that's the entire gimmick, but I do agree that is a gimmick that has been overused in professional wrestling over the years.
Cheap heat.
It's cheap heat. It is cheap heat. But let's get into our final segment of the night. And I've been maybe a little too complainy. And so if you know what this segment is, it's Cody Rhodes in a street fight against Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Cody wins with the crossroads. That's kind of what made the most sense. It was a street fight. It was a good match. It was well wrestled. So I got to ask you, Coby, what do you want to talk about?
What I want to talk about is the fact that they built the show around this match in a way that was effective. We have Cody Rhodes cutting a promo early on in the night saying, "You're in the main event against Shinsuke Nakamura. What are your thoughts?" And you have Cody Rhodes talking about it, saying this should be over, saying what he said in that promo. Then you have the brawl, turning the main event from a singles match into a street fight. I eat that up because throughout the show, you built tension, you built the rivalry to the next level, half level, however you want to view it. But throughout the show, they very well booked the main event well and greatly, and they advanced it before the match started. I eat that up all the time.
Definitely.
For the match itself, it was good. It was enjoyable. It was a good street fight. I love the fact that Cody Rhodes, and this was mentioned by Brandy Rhodes on Twitter, Cody Rhodes had compassion for the mist going into the Bellkeeper because it's his cousin getting misted. That's a little nugget they didn't say online. They didn't say, but Brandy did on social media. I like that as a nugget that adds to Cody Rhodes' character. But the underlying factor is none of us believed Shinsuke Nakamura had a chance. And that's the underlying factor.
Yeah.
Where does Nakamura go from here? I have no idea. I don't know what happens in this sense. Obviously, Cody was getting the win. It was booked fine. The match was fine. It turned out good. It's enjoyable. But the booking decision is still, where do we go from here? And that's
so
always
true.
been my biggest question.
And it's funky with Shinsuke, to your point. They've really built him as being more vicious and more violent of late everywhere except the win-loss record. It's
His
like
biggest wins against Chad Gable.
It is.
Shinsuke don't hit for me, bro. I'm gonna be real with you.
Okay.
I am not the biggest Shinsuke Nakamura fan. That may be a hot take. I think he's a phenomenal character. I think he's got a phenomenal worker more so, and I think he's got a cool presence to him, but they just don't know really how to book him, and it's a little too like the whole anime aspect. I'm a big anime fan, but like with the comic book, but like it's like the same thing with Karrion Kross. It's like you're luring into these people, you're building them into this trap, and you end up losing. And it just gets stale, it gets boring, it makes me not really want to care for the competitor. I feel like they need to maybe find a designated feud for him to kind of build himself back up, because I don't see him a viable competitor for the title. I mean, we done seen him lost to Seth, we done seen him lost to Cody.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we do with him? I mean, is he a mid card guy? I'm not
He
sure.
lost to
Like,
Gunther.
he can't. Like, I don't want to see him get the title off of anybody that holds the title. I mean, maybe Logan Paul, but I mean, maybe even Logan Paul, like I would see him rather lose it to somebody else, like Kevin Owens he's feuding with. Like Shinsuke just doesn't hit for me, man. I don't know what it is. And I hate it because I was a big fan of him when he was in NXT, early part of WWE, obviously his work in New Japan, but I don't know, man. I feel like he's a lot more stale nowadays than he was then, and it's just kind of starting to get boring.
I agree. And it's interesting. Like, it's not that long ago we had the Artist Collective with Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro. Like that is wild to think about to me.
It may have been just putting him like in that whole thing with the Rick Boogs dude. Like I feel like that just made
Yeah.
him like so cheesy, and now it's
Look,
something
that was
completely
fun while it
different.
lasted.
It was alright. I didn't like it that much.
Okay, but
It was
that
over.
does actually bring us to the end of the show. There's one more comment over here from Anthony Manzano about answering a question. Honestly, dude, I'm so sorry. I've got the Instagram live thing open, so I can't actually check to read that question, but I'll reach out after the show and DM you the answer if you want me to. But that does bring us to the end of today's daily show. It's been an awesome one as always. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do. It means the world to us. Tune in tonight, 7:15 Pacific, 9:15 Central, 10:15 over on the East Coast. Dead middle of the night in the UK. We apologize, but maybe check that out tomorrow morning if you can't do it live in the middle of the night immediately following NXT. But we've got me, Shad, Drizzy, and a special guest, Mr. Amazing, on tonight's Off the Air. It's going to be an outstanding show. But with that, that brings us to the end of today's show. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll talk to everybody soon.